Once upon a time, before Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings made motion picture history, John Boorman's 1981 fantasy, Excalibur, conquered the box office. As a result, moviegoers would soon experience a flood of similarly themed sword and sorcery tales. Most of these early fantasy movies were produced on shoestring budgets and came across more campy rather than serious stories. Luckily, there were some exceptions, and one of them is the movie you're about to see, The Last Unicorn. Hello, my name is John Turner. Like most fantasy films, The Last Unicorn is a quest-adventure story, but it's also more than that. This tale is filled with rich, poetic writing and deep, thoughtful messages, and features a host of characters who are complicated, as well as creatures who are as grotesque as they are frightening. All of this originated from the imagination of novelist Peter S. Beagle, who wrote the story in the 1960s. He never dreamed that his book would be a huge bestseller, nor that he himself would write the script for this animated feature. But that's exactly what happened. Of course, the story had to be simplified for the transition to the big screen, but overall, this adaptation remains remarkably faithful. Even the dialogue is taken directly from the book.
There are no happy endings, because nothing ends.
The production facility behind the movie was Rankin Bass Studios, founded by Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass. Now, if you don't remember this company, chances are you might have seen some of their holiday-themed animated specials on television. Do these look familiar to you? Well, as it turned out, Rankin Bass also delved into fantasy territory. For instance, they produced adaptations of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and Return of the King, as well as the lesser-known but thrilling Flight of Dragons. All three of these movies, like most of their work, were primarily made for television. But The Last Unicorn was the studio's first, and sadly, only, feature to be a theatrical release. Now, this movie has an interesting pedigree of talent behind it. While the film was scripted and storyboarded in North America, the actual animation was produced overseas at Topcraft Studios in Japan. Nowadays, we are accustomed to seeing animated projects outsourced to the land of the rising sun, but Rankin Bass was one of the first companies to employ this practice. Topcraft worked on numerous projects for Rankin Bass, and their work was impressive enough to attract the attention of a certain Hayao Miyazaki. The now famous director commissioned the studio to work on his second feature, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Soon after, the company went bankrupt and was acquired by Miyazaki, becoming Studio Ghibli, beginning this director's renowned legacy. Further contributing to the overall quality of the film is the all-star cast of voice actors, which includes Mia Farrow in the title role.
I cannot turn you into something you are not.
As well as Ellen Arkin.
I'm afraid you'll have to be glad of the aid of a second-rate pickpocket.
Angela Lansbury.
No other witch in the world holds a harpy captive.
Keenan Wynn.
My love, where's your Greenwood hospitality?
Jeff Bridges.
No name you would give her would surprise or frighten me.
Tammy Grimes.
Where were you when I was new?
And most memorably, horror legend Christopher Lee.
Do you still deny yourself?
The film also features musical numbers supplied by Jimmy Webb, performed by a well-known rock band, America. The title song in particular is still fondly remembered by those who have seen the film.
Of the last unicorn, I'm alive.
Unfortunately, when The Last Unicorn premiered in theaters on November 19th, 1982, it failed to find its audience. Over time, however, the film gradually did so, becoming a cult classic. To this day, there are legions of viewers who remember this movie very fondly, including the author himself. Whether viewed on television or in select screenings around the world, the film continues to leave a strong impact. And now it's your turn to experience The Last Unicorn the way it was meant to be seen, on the big screen. So without further delay, we invite you to sit back and enjoy the show.